All right. So I'm trying something new. I know I don't have that great of equipment and I have no idea what I'm doing. Um, but I want to start working on figuring out videos to make for YouTube and other platforms related to World of Warcraft and Diablo. Now, obviously, there's a lot of content that can be done, so it's hard to figure out where to even begin. So I figured I would start with my story of how I came to play World of Warcraft and just what my experience has been and discuss it just like a normal human being. So I may even let me you can see me obviously kind of playing with the sizes of my stuff here. I'm trying to see if I can trying to get, move that out of my way, please. Gotta make myself a little bit bigger. And I don't have any editing software yet. I will get it eventually, just I don't have it yet. So make myself a little bit bigger. Anyway, um, so yeah, so I figured I'd start out with discussing my story and kind of going over my different characters I have, like achievements and kind of just remembering everything that I've done, which is going to be quite a story. So I graduated from college in December of 2008. I graduated from Elizabeth City State University. It's a very small college with my bachelor's in computer science. That was my second degree. My first one was an associate's in web design, and I had been I'm not a sheltered child, but I was from a small town, Elizabeth City. I should enunciate it. In North Carolina is a very small city. I mean, it's not the smallest. There are smaller, um, but it is a very small town. And so I grew up pretty sheltered. I didn't play a lot of online games or anything. I played Sega and I had played PlayStation. I mean, I had played console games my entire life. PC games, unless we're talking about the ones I grew up with, so Oregon Trail and that sort of thing, I hadn't really played a lot of PC games. There weren't that many options for me because I didn't have a great computer. I just had a very POS, piece of shit computer. Um, but I mean, I had been building my own and starting to learn to build my own and all of that, obviously, because I had the computer science degree, but also because I had been doing that since I was like 16, is when I started taking apart my first ones in high school. So, anyway, graduated. And my husband, our now husband, was down here in Charlotte, North Carolina, going to school for his civil engineering degree. And basically, since I was graduated and we were both, I should say, yeah, we were both sick of me having to do the drive between Elizabeth City and Charlotte, which is now only for like 4.5 hours if you don't have a child. Um, anyway, it was time for me to just go ahead and move down here. That was what he's proposed. We sorted some things out, ended up getting engaged, all that, because of old-fashioned families. Um, and I moved down here. And within a few months of me living down here, I feel like it was only a few months. I obviously had a lot of time on my hands. I was still trying to find a job. I had worked in the family businesses for years. My parents had thrift stores that they ran, and the last one was an auction house. I had my auctioneer's degree. I was very embedded in that culture. So I didn't have any work experience besides family-owned businesses. Luckily, I had some connections, got myself a job, um, and during that time, yeah, just found World of Warcraft. And I'm like, wonder what this game is like, because I had only been playing uh, PC wise or gaming wise, like I said, PlayStation, that sort of thing. I really played with a lot of online communities besides maybe text games, text muds, which are MMOs in their own right, but they're not graphical, obviously. Um, so yeah, discovered the game, installed. I want to say I just got a free license initially, installed regular World of Warcraft. At this point, it was Burning Crusade was out, so I tried it and I fell in love. I was having a lot of fun. I feel like I had a laptop at this point. I think I had my old Dell laptop still at that point. Um, and just I was really enjoying it. So I'm like, hey Joe, that's my husband's name. I'm like, check this out. You should really try it out too. And so he tested it out, and he liked it too. So we both decided, hey, let's go ahead and let's get the full thing. So we both got Burning Crusade. He leveled a Night Elf Hunter named Shelgare. And what did I originally level? I leveled a priest, a Night Elf priest. We both were Night Elves. I was actually originally Holy. I did Holy. He did, I want to say he originally did Beastmaster because it was the one he was familiar with. And obviously we were complete noobs, so we had a lot to learn. But eventually, as time passed on, we found a guild. The Third Legion, I believe, was the original guild that we were in, if I remember correctly. With that's an Argent Dawn. I don't think it exists anymore. We were there with Momiabu, Sansera, a bunch of other people that I don't have that much contact with anymore. Dash Avenger. I do have a few of them on social media, but definitely have lost contact with those people because obviously times and things fall apart and things evolve and change. But yeah, so we got into the guild and started doing raiding, which was something we weren't obviously familiar with. Had a lot of fun with that. Gradually spread out, and we were doing sister raids with related guilds. And eventually, my husband, found a group that he was doing some other things with. And he ended up eventually leaving the guild, but I think that was after Burning Crusade. Anyway, but yeah, we were doing progress rating at some points. I think mostly with whatever the one is in Burning Crusade, the big rock monster things. I can't think of his name right this second because I'm just drawing a blank. It'd be better if I had a script for this. I am just kind of off the tongue. Anyway, but yeah, we were having a lot of fun. Really on vent, talking to people, having a great time, just communicating with other people, and the challenge of raiding was great. I really think we both enjoyed it. But as time passed, as with all things, he continued to play as hunter. He enjoyed just being a hunter. Me, on the other hand, I have attention issues. So I ended up going and leveling a shaman to do something a little bit different. And I want to say I did enhancement originally. So that's the only melee class I really ever liked was old enhancement. I tried to get it into raids and stuff, and it didn't really happen. So yeah, we played for a while, and towards the end of it, though, we were kind of frustrated. We had some issues with our guild mates, and we're kind of feeling a little lackluster towards the end of that because we didn't get to do the progress of the island raid, whatever that, and the temple. We didn't get to do those two. I mean, maybe a little. We did do it a little bit with one of my friends' guilds because the Silver Hand, I think they were on Argenton. They probably still exist because they're a super old guild. But we had done a little bit with them, but yeah, not much. So we were kind of just frustrated. So we were like, you know what, we're going to go ahead and quit. And at the time, we had discovered that you could actually, not legally, but you could sell your accounts on eBay. People were doing it. So our dumbasses, after we had decided we were going to quit, we sold our original accounts. And so bye was said to them, and we sold them. I checked up on the accounts later, at least mine, and I think they moved them to my priest to another server. I don't think they switched the race or anything. They just switched to another server and kept the name, which was a little weird to me. And I've definitely, obviously, since lost track of that account. But at some point, I don't really remember what happened. I think it's when we moved into the townhouse and we were both bored and wanting something to play together. So we went and created the next accounts that we had. And that's when we came back in Lich King and, joined in still with some of our friends. We got in contact with them. and we really enjoyed it. I mean, we did Naxxramas, we did. This is where I can actually remember more of the raid names better, um, just because my brain's able to process that for some reason. But yeah, we did Naxxramas on progression. Um, what was after Nax? Nax. Now I'm drawing a blank as to what the order of them were. We did them all. We did Ulduar, we did ICC, all of that. But obviously, he and I started playing in different groups. So I was in a different guild. He was in a different guild. A lot of that was because he had gotten laid off and he was working because he had, was obviously had been working remotely still. Surprisingly enough, while he was going to college, but he got laid off, and I was going and working during the day, so we just had different hours a lot of times, so didn't always get to play together. So it made more sense that we weren't in necessarily the same organizations and groups, but we often still did play together. But we just, we had a lot of fun. We did progression, and then came the next expansion, which was Cataclysm. And we had a lot of fun with that. Firelance is still, Ulduar is always going to be my favorite raid ever. It just is. I love the lore. I love the look and feel of it. I love the bosses. I had so much fun in that raid. So it's always going to be one of my favorites. But come Cataclysm. I'm pretty sure that's the order. Is that next was Cataclysm? If I'm wrong, I am so sorry. This is going to look really bad on me. But yeah, we did Firelance. We actually were definitely in two different groups at that point. He was way more into progression at that point, heavily with his group, than I was. Because my group, I was in a very laid-back guild that I had made a lot of friends with. And I was just, kind of taking my time with it. I eventually did start working with his guild. And ended up even joining his guild eventually and working far more seriously on progression again. I had done it some, I definitely did plenty in Lich King. Towards the end of Lich King expansion, I kind of laid off some because I got sick of doing, sick of doing the Lich King, honestly. When we were trying to do it on 25 man, full big group, it was a nightmare, especially when I was playing a priest during that for progression's sake. I guess I should go back and say he always played a hunter. I think he made a paladin briefly and a rogue, but he pretty much always played a hunter. Me, on the other hand, when we made our new accounts, I started out with a shaman, ended up eventually making my priest, and then I made a druid, and the druid ended up becoming my main character eventually towards the end. Especially once we get into the next expansion, Cataclysm, I definitely was very heavily playing my druid. It has most of my reputations and all of that on it now. The priest and my hunter, and I made a hunter, and my shaman, yeah, not so much. Anyway, but yeah, come Cataclysm, I'm all over the place. I'm so sorry. Come Cataclysm, we still played together. We still had a lot of fun, but he was starting to lose his interest in the game, honestly. And then Pandaria came out. And we had a lot of fun with Pandaria. It was a really interesting story. Some of the instances especially were definitely unique. But it was like the content slowed down much more than we had seen with some of the other expansions. And some of the changes that had happened, I don't remember specifics at this point. He definitely lost his interest. So it was just me most of the time, especially towards the end of that expansion, still playing. And after Pandaria was Warlords of Draenor. I actually should just pull up and look up the order of the expansions just to make sure I'm not being stupid. World of Warcraft expansion order in order. Okay. And make sure I'm not crazy. So yeah, Pandaria, then Warlords of Draenor. Okay. When it came to Warlords of Draenor, I don't think I even got to play it at the beginning because I was just busy with life. That's what year was that? Let's see. Warlords of Draenor was 2014. 2012, my dad had passed towards the end of that year, or 2011. So that whole time period was really difficult for me to be able to play anyway. So yeah, Mists to Pandaria was definitely an interesting year. But yeah, Warlords of Draenor, life happened and I was busy with work and everything else. I didn't get much time. So I piddled around with it here in brief bursts and tried to play it. And I even made a horde to play with some friends from my text game. And it just ended up not panning out. So I hardly did anything in Warlords of Draenor. I mean, I did some. I didn't do any serious raiding really, though. I just didn't have the time. I think the first raid was the one where I did some, like the first couple of bosses on progression. And then, yeah, it just fizzled. Now, Legion, on the other hand, I pretty much came back for. I played Legion. I did again have plenty of times where I had to stop playing, but I did do like Nighthold on progression. I feel like the other raids, not so much, just because, again, life, business, work, all of that. Plus, had a kid by that time. and had some other difficulties, life difficulties. I don't need to go into my personal life or anything. And then obviously with Battle of Azeroth, I made sure that I was playing that one. I am playing that one. I'm not, but it's been, again, very much in bursts. I've not done as much as I would like to. I definitely haven't done any of the raids in this expansion. Besides if I've managed to do them in Raid Finder, maybe. Like I've done the first bosses, I think, in Battle of Dazar'alor, and I think I did Crucible Storms once. And that's been pretty much it. Just because I had so much going on, it was easier for me to just get in there, quest a little, see what the storyline was like, and that was it. I just did not have the time. And then I got laid off, and now I've got all the time in the world. Although I am hired back as a contractor, so I'm going to get busy again, but I still think that I'm going to have more than enough time to still do gameplay and, find a new hobby, which is going to be the streaming and video making. Obviously, I still will need to get, software and everything for video making, but for now, I'm just kind of winging it. I'm going to figure it out as I go. So yeah, I thought I'd just kind of open up the game, show you the characters I have, kind of go over what I have here, and just go from there. So obviously I've given you kind of my rough background. Obviously, there's a lot more to it. I mean, if I go into every single detail, I'm not going to remember every single one, but if I go into every single one, I'd have to go into all, guild drama and organization drama and losing interest in certain classes and all of that. So we'll just go into, what we have here. So this is Kul Tiras. I moved to Kul Tiras on my US server several years ago. Actually, I can't remember. It was in Legion because many of my friends from my text game, as I've kind of mentioned it, had played this. And these are people that I've known, for good 15 years probably in various ways, just, virtually known them, and I knew them very well. And I found out that they played. And I was like, hey, let's just, if I get to get on, let's go do it. So with Legion, I moved my characters over so that I could play with them. So Galea is actually one of my original ones. So is Falchu and Zortania, my priest. These three here. And my shaman. Now the shaman on this server, I feel, if I remember correctly, is not my original shaman. My original shaman is over here on Argent Dawn. Argent Dawn was my original server that I was on. And I don't have that many characters over here anymore. So here we have my original shaman, Hadrak. That is the name of it now, because I race changed it or faction changed it. It was originally a Draenei shaman. But when I was trying to play with my text game friends at the time, I just made it a horde because they were playing horde. And I could go ahead and join groups with them as long as I was a horde because of the cross server stuff. Anyway, so that's why this one is different, but this is my original shaman, and as you can see, I don't play it. You can see I have a bunch of, other classes still over here. I have a mage, a monk. I tried monk. I sucked at it. I suck hard. There's a rogue and there's a warrior. I don't play Argent Dawn anymore, but I do just have them. And then, to try to play with my brother, I think at one point, I made some characters on Kel'Thas. They haven't been touched in years. I mean, yeah, they haven't been touched in years. But hey, you can see I kind of keep to some similar names here. Galea. I don't even remember where that name came from. I don't even have it in my text game. So I think Bronzebeard was me screwing around when the server was down one time. Yeah, because look at that name. It's really random. I don't even remember that very well. Um, and then Dalaran, I think it's the same thing as when the server was down on Argenton. We would go make random characters and just go raid servers. That was good times. And sorry if you see kitties. I just saw Riku in the background. Riku is my orange kitty. Anyway, so that's them. Now I'm on Cold Terras and I have all of these characters. My druid, I'm primarily trying to focus on it because it's my original character. I had been playing my hunter because I really enjoy the hunter. Hunter class is a lot of fun. I do Beastmaster. But I really want to make sure I'm trying to focus all of my achievements and stuff on one character, just because the reputation grinds are such a pain in the ass. It's easier to have one character you focus on the most so that you can get, flight, for example, and then share it across your other characters. So that's why I'm trying to go back and work on my druid and get the druid through all the storyline, because I originally started off with playing my priest for this expansion, thinking, okay, I'm going to do Shadow. Shadow's going to be fun. And then I'll also do Disc, and I'll use Disc for raiding. And then come to find out with the changes they made with this expansion, I didn't really like either. I'm not going to lie. Then Boredom from last expansion, obviously I did make a Warlock, and I even made a Mage. And then I, kind of piddled around here and there when I was just going through things. So I've got a Warrior, just a tryout Warrior, Death Knight, another Monk that was just me screwing around, a Shaman. This is actually I feel like this might have been my original, you get a free level 100 character or something. I feel like that's what this one was that. And then I started to make a Nightborn to try to get the faction heirloom armor or whatever done, and I never went back. But yeah, I think that's the only one I have open right now is Nightborn, because I had all of my reputation filled out for that. When it comes to the other races, yeah, pretty sure if I go create a new character and go to the allied races, yeah, that's the only one I have. It's Nightborn. The rest of them, I just don't have the achievements, because a lot of that reputation stuff I just didn't get to do in Legion, because I just was not playing Legion as seriously. Anyway, so I think this is pretty much a summary of my gameplay, of my characters, and kind of my history with World of Warcraft. Now, when it comes to my gameplay of my druid, I have done it all. The only thing, and I can say this for every single class, I'm not big on melee. I liked doing it with a shaman back in the day. I like the rotation. I'm big on some sort of rotation. It's just I like knowing exactly what I should be doing next and watching my cooldowns. I don't like having to kind of just randomize it a little bit more, or watch certain resources and everything like you have to do with a rogue. You have to try to get up to 3 points and hit certain attacks at certain times. I mean, there's add-ons to help with that, which has helped me, and I have played melee classes, but I also don't like being right on the boss, because I don't like having to run away and all of that. I'd rather be at range, so I tend to play range classes. That's why I often heal. Now, if I do play a melee class, it's going to be tanking usually. So I have done bear, and I enjoy bear. I don't think I've done it seriously since, well, no, I did do some last expansion. I definitely did do some bear tanking. I did a lot of bear tanking, but I was primarily healing last expansion. I didn't like Boomkin as much last expansion, so I didn't Boomkin at all. I pretty much avoided it like the plague. Now, come Cataclysm, I loved it. I loved it so much. I remember specifically doing the Deathwing fight as Boomkin, because they needed a Boomkin to be able to just keep spamming dots to help kind of keep the damage going while we're bouncing around from platform to platform. So yeah, I'm Boomkin now though, and I do enjoy it. Now, I have made a character on a EU server. I made an EU account because I was playing with one of my friends. It's Physics Gaming on Twitch if you want to check him out. Um, and we definitely were doing some things together here and there when we had time. Still do when we have time. It's just, sometimes people don't get time to get together. Um, so I have a druid over there, and it's primarily restoration. I do boomkin for like questing and stuff, but primarily I'm doing healing. Now on this one, I'm doing primarily boomkin just because my guild already has a lot of healers, so they probably won't need me to heal. Now, if they do, I'm more than happy to switch over to healing. I can do it. It's easy enough. I know the way around a druid healer like the back of my hand, basically, as that's what I've primarily done with my druid, besides tanking. Um, I always have done either one of those two primarily. I don't Boomkin's still kind of, a nice change when I get to do it. Um, Now the other times that I have tanked, I did do paladin. I don't have a paladin anymore because I just don't really like play classes as much for some reason. I just don't get into them as well. Definitely did not like paladin healing though. When I had my shaman, I primarily used to do shaman healing. I liked it. Didn't like elemental as DPS very much. So you can kind of get an idea of I just have a weird way of looking at classes. So I find a niche, I stick to it usually, unless I get bored, and then I make a new character or go play another character. I just kind of have at it. So feel free to leave comments if you have any questions. Uh, about my gameplay or reasons for the types of things that I choose to do with my characters, as far as why I want to play specific specs over another, and I'll try to come up with some sort of logical answer, but a lot of it's just the feel. I will be honest. And I'm sure that's the case for a lot of people, but you can also just, give me your opinion. What makes you want to play your class that you do? What makes which one your favorite? I'd love to hear other people's comments and thoughts on that, because I always wonder, is it just me that likes it because of a certain feel, or is it everybody? Anyway, so carrying on, this is again my primary character that I am trying to go back to playing rather than being a dummy and screwing around. This is the one where I have 15,000 achievements. I think my husband actually is still beating me on achievements. I think he has 16,000, and that's crazy because that was before, that was Cataclysm. That was when he stopped playing. I really should go look up his account and see if he's still ahead of me or not. But he had a lot. He was pretty much an achievement hunter. He's a hunter. Funny. He pretty much would do anything for achievements. And I didn't do it as much until I realized, wow, I really need something to fill a lot of the spare time I have. So I started farming mounts, I started farming achievements, reputations, all of that. So that's why I'm at the 15,000 now. It's not a great number, but it's not bad. It's not too bad, not too shabby. Most of it, as you can see here, is going to be related to character, and then there's obviously the ones with quests and world events. So some of the legacy ones, I'm glad that I do have. Let's see, do I have it on this one? Yeah, I got my knuckle sandwich achievement, but that one was from, as you can see here, Zortinia, from my priest of all things. Got my original, unarmed skill. And then Zortinia has a lot of these achievements. So, and Zali is was the name of my shaman. So that's where I've got some of these other achievements, like the Iron Dwarf, medium rare, and everything. But then you start seeing that some of these other ones are primarily from Gallia. So I do have a lot of achievements, and I'm very proud of where I am with those. And obviously I just got a bunch today because I hadn't done any island expeditions. I pretty much skipped doing those like a dummy because I figured, I'll do them just for the original stuff, and then I don't really need to do them. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I get AP from those. I should probably be doing them. And then I also realized there's other things that expand questline wise if you do them. So yeah, I went back and started doing them. Now as far as stuff that I've hunted down, I'll tell you, I've got, let's see, how many is it now? 214 mounts that I've actually attained. I swear I thought it was 288. Am I filtering? Or maybe it's 288 pets. No. I wonder if it's not including Horde. Because if you look at my account online, it actually will say I have 288 mounts. So I'm not positive. It might be because some of them are on Horde. I don't know. Pets 243, of which only 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 are level 25. So you can tell I never do pet battles. That's another thing I need to work on. I just didn't get into it that much, but it looked like it was a lot of fun. I had too much other things to do to go back and do that. Toys, I really don't have that many. That's one thing I probably will go back and do. And then heirlooms, I have half of them. I did not finish going back and getting some of the rest of those. But I don't alt as much as I used to, so I haven't had much of a reason to go back and get them. You know, I haven't really been leveling a bunch of new characters. So there's not a lot of reason. Yeah, I already said a reason, but whatever. And I definitely don't have that many appearances at all. Because I don't really do a ton of transmogging. I did work on it the other day just to make sure my Night Elf Druid didn't look ridiculous, because I did the glyph to allow me to be seen while I'm even in Boomkin form. And I think that's really about it, to just kind of go over my general gameplay history. So, you know, I'm familiar with the raid progress grind, both in just regular and heroic, before there was mythic. I remember the addition of mythic as another option. I was like, ooh, goodness. Because I remember doing ICC heroic, working on Syndragosa heroic, and we would just, Joe was doing it with me back then, and we were in the same group, and just having to deal with the you know, mortals while you, I can't remember what she said, but having to listen to her over and over and over again every time we would do that raid, and we would be stuck on her for a while. So I know that progression grind and working as a group to try to get it just right to get that boss done, and the satisfaction that you get once you do it, but the frustration while you're trying to do it is, I don't know, sometimes it doesn't balance out, sometimes it does. So I'm more than willing to talk just about anything. I could do really I lore videos. I could do how to get certain achievement videos. I could just do me going through old content and showing it. I'm struggling to figure out where I want to begin besides this video right now. So if you have any suggestions or you have any requests, leave some comments. Let me know. I'd be glad to do something specific if you're looking for something very specific that you haven't been able to find. I know there's a lot of creators out there that are already doing things, so I can always just go do fun runs where be like, hey, what's it like to run Ulduar as a boomkin by yourself? It's fun. It's kind of complicated for at least 1 or 2 bosses, but it's fun. Kirazan, don't ask me to do that one. I can't even imagine doing chess by yourself. Honestly, I don't know. I guess you could technically. No, I think you might have to have 2 people for chess. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've tried to solo that one. I have tried it before. Not before it was an instance. I tried to do the raid for pets and stuff, or the mount. So I was trying to do the whole raid by myself at one point, and I think I got stuck at chest. I think I couldn't get past it. I don't remember though. I have done a lot of solo content. I do often, haven't been doing as much for mount runs, obviously, going and doing the one with the Blood Elf and Burning Crusade. I can't think of his name right now. Man, I'm drawing blanks on people's names. Kel'Thas. Yeah, Kel'Thas Sunrider or whatever. Both of him, both his raid and his instance, because I don't have the mount from the instance. Either have the mount or have the bird, or the pet. I can't remember which one I have. Anyway, there's a lot of those types of things that I'm fine with recording myself doing it if you're curious of where to go, how to handle the bosses, that sort of thing. A lot of that older content is obviously just go in there, murder it really fast, and leave. But some of them can be a little bit more complicated because there's going to be a few mechanics you still have to worry about. Not many in many of the older ones. And I'd be glad to record even some of the more recent expansions where I haven't touched the raid before, haven't read any of the, explanations of how to do the bosses, and just go in, fuck it, record myself doing the raid and possibly dying at level 120 to a lower level boss because that would be hilarious. I'm more than happy to do drunken nights. I do have tequila. You can't see it, but it's on one of those counters behind me. I used to do drunken raids all the time with back in BC, so more than happy to do a drunken night where I'm just goofing off and do that live even possibly, as long as my son is not being a handful. Can't completely force my husband to have to deal with him for hours when he's being difficult. I could. I try to be a nice and good wife and mother. Try to be responsible. Finger guns. Finger guns? Anyway. I think that'll do it though. I'll get this posted. But hey, if you're watching this, obviously, thank you so much for watching it. I do stream pretty often. I try to stream once to twice a day as long as I'm home. You can follow me on twitch.tv/Zortinia. I stream mostly World of Warcraft. I do stream some of Diablo 3. I do have other games, and I'm always more than willing to try to play games with other people. So if you ever want to do that, if you check me out on Twitch, I have my Discord information, my Battle.net information, Steam, all of that's linked in the information on Twitch. So you can definitely feel free to add me, reach out to me, and yeah, that'd be great. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully I didn't babble too much. And if I did, I'm so sorry. But thank you for watching all the way to the end here, and enjoy your gameplay. Bye.